And we're live. We are live. The old stone hammer.
Man,
Stone hammer.
he was a stonemason, right? And a blue-collar man?
Yeah, blue-collar politician. Unconventional, right?
But meagerly educated.
Meagerly. Yeah, meagerly. I like that word, meagerly. And he sure wasn't winning any beauty contests, was he?
No, man, he had a look for him. A look to kill, maybe.
You see that picture of him, huh? He's on the background right there. But you ready? We're ready to rock with this, huh?
We ready? The 10th governor of Kentucky, Thomas Metcalf.
Yeah, the 10th governor of Kentucky. We'll be right back after this intro video, and we'll get started with Governor
Thomas Metcalf.
The old stone hammer.
There you go.
Welcome to History Nuts. I'm Russ Carson Jr., the founder of Family Tree Nuts. At Family Tree Nuts, we build family trees for people, and we produce videos at historic locations and videos that help to honor your ancestors.
I'm Jameson Cable, founder of the Kentucky History Podcast, where we talk about anything Kentucky history, events, people. If it has to do with Kentucky, we're going to discuss it.
And we've teamed up together to bring you History Nuts.
History Nuts is a live show where we talk about, you guessed it, history.
Right. History seems to be less and less to people today, but we are trying to do everything we can to keep it alive.
Absolutely. History is a passion of ours for sure, but it connects to you. Russ, tell us about the best part of the show.
You can join in. You can comment and ask questions live.
We've got a great topic today, and we know you're going to enjoy this episode of
History Nuts.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Here we go. I'm excited about this,
There we go.
Jameson. Should we tell him what's
It's
really going
a
on?
good. Tell him what's going on, because it may be a little wild.
Jordan normally produces our show. If you watch this show, you often hear that us talking to Jordan. You don't see Jordan on the screen. He's not with us tonight. So guess who they put in charge?
You, my friend.
Us. The monkeys are running the factory, man. Kind of thing. The monkeys are running the house. So you're going to see a little bit of different things. Bear with us, because I promise you we're going to goof some stuff up along the way here, aren't we?
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's guaranteed.
Absolutely. We're going to goof it up. We'll have a little bit different format. Miss you tonight, Jordan. We'll see you soon, buddy. But hey, listen, if you got another thing real quick, this is not streaming live on Family Tree Nuts YouTube as it normally is. It is streaming live on the Kentucky History Channel's YouTube page. But it's on both our Facebook. So if you've got to be a YouTube person, go watch it on the Kentucky History Channel. If you're a Family Tree Nuts person and got us on Facebook, make sure you switch over to that. But also subscribe to those YouTube channels, because this video will be on both of them forever, right?
Yeah. Yep. Well, they'll be loaded up, and anytime when you want to learn a little bit about Thomas Metcalf. So we're ready.
That's right.
Because
Absolutely.
Started rolling in.
Yeah, I seen that. Blaine says one of his favorite people. Let me find that on here.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, Blaine. Hey guys, one of my favorite Kentuckians, Blaine said there.
Don't forget, Jason already pops up and says, get the blooper video ready.
Yes, sir, buddy. Yeah, get it rolling. But we're going to have a few little goofy things for sure. Make sure that we'd like you to comment. We'd like you to comment, add to the show. That's the beauty of it being a live show, is that you can comment. Let us know where you're watching from and stuff. And go from there. So Alice says good evening from Bama. She needs to get a better picture.
Bama.
Alan needs to get a better profile pic right there. You see that? Can you see that profile pic there?
I can, but it's is that a cow? What is that? A car?
No, it's that Alabama Roll Tide kind of thing. So, oh gosh.
I'm looking at the wrong picture. That's why I could.
Yeah, buddy. So yeah, man, we are ready to rock. Yeah, what about you, Kate? We better get on with Metcalf before we lose everybody.
I was going to say, we could go on a tangent, but yeah, we'll stick to Metcalf.
The old Stonehammer. What a cool daggone nickname that is, huh?
It is, and I am 100% ready to clarify that, or to, I guess, announce that he has the best nickname of a Kentucky governor ever.
I
So
love it.
I don't think anybody's going to top it.
I tell you what, as we get into this guy, when you look at his picture, when you learn about him as a man that we're going to talk about right now, can you imagine this fella's handshake?
Oh man, he'd break your knuckles.
Yeah, buddy. Imagine, and we're going to get to one of his comments that he said what he's going to do to you if you talk bad about his character. We'll get into that before the show's out here, right? So what he has to say. I wouldn't fool around with him. If nothing else, he's got that cool hairdo, right?
Oh, it is styling. It is styling. I can't wait for it to come back in style because I will definitely get it going.
All righty, man. So Thomas Metcalf, where's he from? Where's he born?
Oh, he was like many Kentuckians and Kentucky governors at this point, I guess. Born in Virginia, and I'm probably gonna mess it up. Farquhar. How do you say it?
Yeah, it's actually Falkwer. Yeah, yes.
Okay.
I did say that correctly. It's Falkwer County. I have to think about it to pronounce that properly. Falkwer County. Yes, sir.
Well, he was born in 1780. Falkwer.
No, Falkwer.
Falkwer. All right.
There you go. You got it. Now you always have it.
I will not say that fast.
Wasn't there a movie? Meet the Falkwers? Wasn't it a movie about the Gaylord Falkwer?
There was, but
Meet the Parents. Anyway, sorry.
I think it was Falkwer. Yeah, but he was born on March 20th, 1780. His parents were John and Sally Chin Metcalf. His father served as a captain in the Revolutionary War. So you think about this, 1780. The United States was just becoming a country. Kentucky still had 12 more years before it could become a state. So, he's kind of younger, really, when you think of some of the people we've talked about. A lot of the people we've talked about, were already in Kentucky or was, fighting in the Revolutionary War, those kinds of people. So he's a little bit younger, just a little.
I'm glad you brought that up, Jameson, because, this is a time period that we're talking about where people don't know much about. Even history folks, that early 1800s to Civil War, we just forget about those years completely. So he's one of those guys that fall into there. And I'm willing to say that most people watching don't know much about General. We talk about so many generals, Governor Metcalf, but I know Blaine does. Blaine watching is a Metcalf expert.
Oh, well, cool, good. Oh, he probably know more than us then.
I know. I asked him if he wanted to be on the show. Actually, I sent him my notes. I sent him my notes to make sure that we got enough coverage. He is the expert on Metcalf.
Yeah. So he's got a good tie to Kentucky. In 1784, his family moves to Russell's Cave, which is really close to Lexington, and there for a little bit. But then they moved to Nicholas County, which is where they established their roots. That's pretty much where they're from till the end. So
and this is a side note. I'm gonna show this later in our commercial videos, but his house where he lived, his land was literally, I don't know exact here. I have to look it up, but it's I don't think it's more than 2 miles. Blaine, help me out. It's more than 2 miles from Daniel Boone's house where he lived from 1795 to 1799. So actually Metcalf moved to the area just a couple of years after Boone left. So I think that's kind of neat. So
yeah, that is pretty cool.
Blaine, he did very thorough research. We need your help, Blaine. So, there you go. Look at this. Look what he said. Less than a quarter mile.
Wow.
From Boone's house. Pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. Pretty cool. So he kind of sets up there in Nicholas County.
It's a capital G, Scott. Go ahead. Sorry.
But his family status, they weren't necessarily high society to say. So he had a basic education or a meager. I like the word a meager education. So
Meager, yeah.
not a lot of book studying. Not the typical. I'm going to go to law school, going to transit
Transylvania.
kind of guy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
transit.
yeah. Yeah. So, but at the age of 16, he becomes an apprentice under his brother to be a stonemason. And Metcalf was bright. You know, he wasn't really able to pursue the higher education. But when his father died, he kind of really had to step in to be the head of the household. And you got to do some work when you're doing that if you're going to be the head of the household, especially during that time of well, that time period, I guess would be better to say. But just saying, man, what was you doing at 16?
At 16.
Yeah.
Well, I was playing a whole lot of football and running a whole lot of track at that time and chasing a whole lot of girls, kind of thing. But
Yeah. I was flipping some pizzas. That was my job at the time, I think, when I was 16. I worked at a movie warehouse for a little bit too, but
yeah, this guy was
stonemason, man.
Stonemason, and that's what's really cool because he's a blue collar guy. I mean, could you imagine a contractor, a guy that builds houses, running for governor?
Yeah.
That's who this guy is, and that's why he's kind of cool because we don't see that today, do we?
No, not at all. I mean, it's just kind of baffling to think how hard it would have to have been to live back then and work, make a living. We got a good comment. What's that? Boone's cabin was once part of Forest Retreat Farm. Well, Forest Retreat. We're going to talk about that. Ancestor Stalker says here. It seems Daniel Boone can never be far from any story, especially a Kentucky story.
Yeah, we can't get Boone out of it, can we?
Yeah,
we did a story today. Scott, I don't know if you saw that video. Scott Denny from Nashville, Tennessee, was out here. We did a story, and we couldn't get away from Boone on that either. So
yeah. Well, as carpenter work or contractor work goes, if you're good at it, you will always have work. And Metcalf and his brother brothers, that they were really good at it. So they worked hard, made a good living. The crazy thing to think is some of his houses that they built are still standing and are on the National Registry of Historical Places. One of his first homes is in modern day Robertson County, and the brothers also helped build the first governor's mansion in Kentucky in 1797, 1798. So I mean, we get some pictures. There we go. Whoa, just me.
There's our first blooper right there.
It's back there.
Yeah, he's right behind us.
There you go. There we go.
Remember I told you about the bloopers we're going to have tonight, right?
Bear with us.
Yeah, I'm going to show you a couple pics of that.
That's a better picture. That's just me.
We need Jordan. We need Jordan on this because got a thing because there's no audio when we talk about that. But yeah, that background of that house, it's really cool because he didn't know it at the time. When was that built?
1797, 1798.
Yeah.
So
the second governor, Isaac Shelby, the first governor, didn't live there until his next term. That's confusing. But the first governor, I think, was James Garrett, lived there. Another great, very good looking fella. If you want some entertainment, Google James Garrett.
I thought you were gonna say another great governor, but I was gonna say, yeah, he was a pretty good governor, but no, you're going that way. He's a looker. Isn't that now the lieutenant governor's mansion?
That's
yes. Blaine is correct though. The lieutenant governor now stays in that, which would be Jacqueline Coleman, I think is her name. So she stays there. But he also had many famous visitors: Andrew Jackson, Henry Clay, William Jennings Bryan. Uh, 1802 and 1804. I know I'm running through that a little bit quick. We got more pictures there.
Yeah, I showed that photo right there, but go ahead and say. I think I muted you. Sorry about that. Remember, I told you about bloopers. It's funny. We decided to do James Metcalf because we knew that we were going to goof some stuff up during this video, and we knew you probably wouldn't know much about James Metcalf. But he is a blue collar guy, and we're doing a blue collar job of. I'm doing a blue collar job of producing this, trying to show you pictures on there, and I keep muting Jameson now. We'll figure that out for next show, won't we?
Yeah. So, I'll do what? Who visited him? Okay, so Andrew Jackson, Henry Clay, William Jennings Bryan, and even Theodore Roosevelt. I
think. Yeah, it was in use until the 1920s, I think.
What's that? The courthouse. The courthouse in Greene County. Yes, it was used in 1928.
Yeah. Well, the governor's mansion was used until when? And then they changed it to
1914.
Yeah.
So 1914. So I mean, still you're looking at over 100 years for both of those structures that are, and one of them still is even in use today. So.
Yeah, you can visit that today. There's a picture we have of the courthouse too that he built, right?
Mm-hmm. Show it real quick.
All right, so they're not going to hear you, but I'll show a couple pictures of that. Okay? So here we go.
I won't say nothing. You can talk about. You can talk over it.
And we're back. We showed those photos of that. Yeah. That was the oldest courthouse west of the Alleghenies, I think, that was still in use. And it was used for a couple hundred years. Almost a couple hundred.
That's 120 some.
You can go there. I've been to Greensburg and I saw that building. And I said, what is that? But, I was in the middle of about 6 other projects. So, and that's the cool thing about history, man, is, and Blaine, who was commenting on there, him and I talked about that earlier this morning. Gosh, which tangents do you go on, with history? So.
I know. Well, what it is rabbit holes, that's what some people call them. And especially when it's genealogy.
That's exactly Blaine called it this morning.
Yeah, and that thing I was talking to somebody a podcast interview, and we were talking about genealogy and just history, and I was like, I gotta learn to I gotta finish the rabbit hole I'm in before I go down another one, because before you know it, you have 10 projects you're trying to do, and I really just need to finish that one. So
it's fact. Yes, sir. We have our team of genealogists here at Family Tree Nuts, and I'm like, focus on what you're doing. Focus on that. What is the goal here? Because before long, you're talking about a 4th cousin 3 times removed that did this thing, which is awesome. If you look at my personal family tree, it's got tens of thousands of people in there. But, Blaine says, isn't that the lieutenant governor's mansion? And it was used until I think Steve Henry, what was her name? Heather French Henry, who was Miss America. Was his wife. You get to be lieutenant governor of Kentucky. You marry Miss America, right?
I guess so.
or you get to be Jameson Cable. You get to
marry. So this is typical of many of the people we've talked about. He does enroll into the military when he was 21. He enlists as a lieutenant in the 29th Regiment of Kentucky Militia, and a year later, he's then promoted to captain. In 1806, he gets married to Nancy Mason, who's Virginia. They have 4 children, and in 1814, Thomas began working on his home, which became famously known as Forest Retreat.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you know how it got you know how it's got a name, how it
Well,
got its
hang on a
name.
second. Are you going to talk about the War of 1812?
Oh yeah. Well, I
Are you
was
going to
here in
talk
a
about that?
second. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right. All right. All right.
Because 18.
You're
I
leading
guess
the
we did
show,
skip
bro.
over that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
because
what was Forest Retreat?
go
What
ahead.
it got its name from? Henry Clay.
What was your question? I'm sorry. Hey, I'm trying
Oh.
to do the stuff that
Do
Jordan
both?
does and follow along and add on to here because
Yeah.
this guy is a
Yeah.
cool dude.
So
He built the
Henry
house
Clay.
what, in 18?
Yeah, 1814. So Henry Clay comes and he says, "Tom, you have here a valuable forest retreat," and then the name stuck, so it became
I
known
think
as
you broke up
Forest
there a
Retreat.
second. You broke up. What did he say?
He said, "Tom, you have here a valuable forest retreat."
Yeah,
So,
man. And I'm going to show a couple of shots of that real quick. So unfortunately, I don't know how to show the pictures of that and let us.
keep me alive. Yeah.
Buddy, there's got to be a smoother way than that. There's got to be. Thank you, folks, for your understanding. We're going to have to figure that out, Jordan. You're going to have to help me out, brother. So,
Yeah. So,
Tom,
so
you have.
back in
He said again, Tom, you have a
veritable
veritable.
forest retreat. Veritable
You're the
forest
teacher,
retreat.
man. You know, I'm supposed
I
to be.
will.
I'm supposed to be the job. You're supposed to be the smart guy here, man.
I'm squinting here at the comments. Blaine was clarifying
Yeah,
for us.
the name stuck, and it's called Forest Retreat, and it's right there, right off of 68, which is a massive, important historical highway right there. It's the old road between Limestone or Maysville to Lexington there, so it's a very, very important road.
Yeah. So, War of 1812. Scoot back a few years. He's elected to.
You forgot that,
Metcalf
man.
was. Yeah, I know it's pretty important, especially for Kentuckians. But he's elected to the Kentucky House of Representatives. But like as soon as he's elected, the War of 1812 breaks out. So he comes around the very next year and raises up a company of volunteers, and he served in the siege of Fort Meigs, right?
Meigs.
Meigs. He comes around and says, "Hey guys, let's all go fight this battle." And everybody's like, "Yeah, let's do that." That sounds crazy. Because do you think of any representative doing that now?
I like that. I mean, okay, we all have our local state representative. He's just a regular Kentucky state representative at that time. Thinking of representative running around and saying, "Let's go off to Afghanistan," or "Let's go to Iraq." Think of your local representative. I've got him in my mind right now, and he's a spectacular fella. But I can't imagine
representatives or anything.
Yeah, he actually is a cattle farmer, and kind of thing. A very very awesome dude. But I can't imagine him saying, "Hey, bro, let's go to Iraq and fight the Al Qaeda over there." Can you imagine? Serious? Imagine that.
No, that's great. It's crazy to think that. I mean, that's how it was. I mean, different time, man. Different time. But Fort Meigs was a supply depot and kind of a staging point for operations in the war. Twice in 1813, it was attacked by British General Proctor and their. Do what?
All right, folks watching, I'm sure that you're thinking that was kind of ridiculous how I showed that there, but I don't know how else to do it.
Anyway, so that was a picture of Tecumseh, right? And
Tecumseh and General
Proctor.
He was kind of
so that
bloated too, wasn't he? And notice how you ever notice how people in history, really successful, high up people get a little bit chubby, don't they?
They do, yeah, they do.
But people if you notice about Boone, one thing I've noticed about all the paintings and pictures of Boone, he's kind of emaciated. He was out there, humping that back.
Running wild. Yeah, he's running wild. So he during the second siege, the fort was under the commanding general of Green Clay, the father of Henry Clay, and while he was off serving in the war.
We got a picture of that. We got a picture of that.
Yep.
I'm gonna have to click this off. Then I got to click you. There's got. All right. See that's Green Clay right there, which you think that's a hilarious name, but Green Clay and Cassius's father there. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I think I might have said Henry, father of Henry Clay, father of Cassius Clay.
Great.
While he was
Henry Clay's cousin, Henry Clay's first cousin.
Yeah, Henry Clay's cousin.
General Green Clay. Yeah.
Yeah. But while Metcalf was off fighting in the war here, he actually was reelected to the Kentucky House of Representatives, which I wouldn't think it'd be that hard to get reelected when you are out fighting the battles yourself. So
that goes to show you how popular the War of 1812 was for the Kentuckians. And that's something that that you and I have talked about. We're going to get in much more detail as we move forward here, how important the War of 1812 was to the state of Kentucky and how many people fought from Kentucky in the War of 1812. But imagine once again, I want you to put this stuff in perspective. You often have to think about people today. Imagine your local Kentucky or wherever you live, state representative, all fighting in Iraq or Afghanistan and getting reelected while they're gone. First of all, I don't see our politicians willing to stick their neck out like that. I haven't seen that since World War II. But but it's unfathomable, isn't it? And it's amazing all the military prowess that was out there for our early leaders.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, and that goes to show they were very much, not nothing against politicians today, but they're a man of the people or men with the people. They went and rallied them up and got their support and so forth. So
led from the front while the bullets were flying. Unlike these clowns. Anyway, you'll get me started. I like to live in the past. People say, "Hey, man, did you hear my mother-in-law?" My mother-in-law scolded me Sunday afternoon. She came over for supper, and she scolded me for not paying attention to all these things that are in the news that she gets riled up about, ready to fight. And I said, "You know what? I spend my life every day with dead people. Nobody argues with me, so I live in the past, man." So it was a different time back then, for sure.
Yeah. So a few years later, in 1818, Thomas was elected, and eventually he served 5 terms in the U.S. House of Representatives. Hold
on, Jameson. Before we get into his political career, right now we've talked about him being a stonemason, and he's a person of the people. He's a blue-collar politician. What do we have? A quick commercial break there. Literally, guys, this is 3 minutes. Bear with us. Our commercial breaks are a lot different right now. We'll be right back after this. The first clip is a video that's a quarter mile, as Blaine says, right from the destination. Here we go.
Cool.
Colonel Daniel Boone's last home in Kentucky. Hey everybody, this is Russ Carson Jr. with Family Tree Nuts, and I'm in modern-day Nicholas County, just a few miles outside of Carlisle, off of Route 68. And I'm in front of this log cabin here, which is the last home that Daniel Boone ever lived in Kentucky. We all know about Daniel Boone's exploits into the frontier of Kentucky. We know he helped to found Boonesboro. We know he guided tens of thousands of settlers into Kentucky. The words Kentucky and Boone are forever linked together. But Daniel didn't live his last days here. He spent his last days in Missouri. But right here is the last place that Daniel Boone called home in his beloved Kentucky. Daniel Boone first came to Kentucky in 1769. He helped found Boonesboro in 1775, but he lived several different places in and around Kentucky for the next 2 decades. We know in 1779, he helped to found Boone Station with his brother Samuel. That's in modern-day Fayette County, Kentucky. We know he lived near modern-day Maysville also along the Kentucky River. He even lived near modern-day Point Pleasant, West Virginia for a time. The Boone family was very close, and they often moved place to place with their large family group, which included their children and their children's families, and also the family members of his wife, Rebecca Bryan Boone. Colonel Daniel Boone came to this area in 1795, and he built this cabin right here.
When he ran for governor, he was the first to run under the National Republican Party ticket. Metcalf won election to the Kentucky governorship in 1828. He defeated William T. Berry by a margin of 699 votes. Metcalf was a progressive governor during the pre-Civil War era. He pushed for internal improvements to help the welfare of the state. During his tenure, the Shelbyville-Louisville Road was established. The state's first railroad was commissioned. A canal at the Fall of the Ohio was planned. Andrew Jackson vetoed finances that would have developed the Maysville-Lexington Road. Metcalf continued to build it with state funds. He denounced South Carolina's nullification of the tariffs as a danger to the Union. Kentucky would not take such a course. Metcalf was a strong supporter of an improved public education system. However, an Education Act of 1830 was neutralized when county participation was made optional. After leaving office, Metcalf served as a member of the Kentucky State Senate from 1834 to 1838. He was a presidential elector in 1836, served as chairman of the State Board of Internal Improvements from 1840 to 1849, and served as a member of the U.S. Senate from 1848 to 1849. He denounced secession. He retired to his farm at Forest Retreat in Nicholas County. Governor Thomas Metcalf died of cholera on August 18, 1855, and was buried at the family graveyard on the grounds of the Forest Retreat in Nicholas County, Kentucky.
Wow.
There we go.
So I guess, Jameson, we don't need to do the rest of the story anymore. You just told it, didn't he? But, yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
But
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, those were really teaser clips. If you'd like to see the rest of those videos, make sure you go to both of our YouTube channels where those videos are out there. And that's a great example of what you and I do, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think at this point, I think we've done 15, or the first 16 governors, which Isaac Shelby was the governor twice. The first 16 governors of Kentucky. And we've covered a few here as well, more in depthly. So
I think
those are quick videos.
But I think
no
that's
more than 5 minutes.
That you're doing because you're documenting those people, and all those little kids in Kentucky history class are Googling those things. They're getting to learn that. I think that's awesome that you're documenting that because these are people that were important to people like you and I, and those that are watching the show. We care about that stuff. And I think it's awesome that you're documenting that. Yeah. Notice that the Boone house, like Blaine said, was a quarter mile from there. If you like to see the rest of that video, make sure you go to the YouTube channel, Family Tree Nuts. We've got tons and tons. We've got almost 400 videos on there now. So
yeah,
back to Thomas Metcalf.
Yes. So a few years after the War of 1812 and 1818, he's elected to the U.S. House of Representatives.
Got a big promotion, huh?
Big promotion, yeah, up in Washington, He sits on a few committees of Indian Affairs, on a militia committee on the militia. In 1822, President James Monroe called for Congress to report on how to deal with the Seminole Indian tribe.
Hang on. All right, that was pretty garbage, wasn't it? Right there.
There we go.
All right. Yeah, we got President James Monroe. We're supposed to be able to show those videos and keep talking, right?
Pictures, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, those pictures.
Um,
But yeah, we served on
so
a couple of committees.
a couple committees. The big, or I guess James Monroe called for them to report on how to deal with the Seminole Indian tribe in Florida, which was newly acquired territory.
Yeah, in the 1820s. Believe that or not, Florida was part of Spain until the 1820s.
Yeah. Metcalf reported that the tribe should be treated as any other citizen and that they be given land grants and that would help them assimilate into white society. However, they did not listen to him. So,
isn't that interesting?
That is.
Bring them on and say, all right, you were part of the Spanish territory. Now we're going to make you part of the United States. And by the way, we're going to give you a land grant because, by golly, you've been here since, I don't know, God made human beings there that are living there.
Yeah.
What a novel idea, right?
No, okay. What a radical at the time, But
radical idea. Why would we give those red guys land that they've been living on for all this time?
Yeah. It's crazy though. That they did not take his advice, and things changed. Or I guess I really don't know exactly what happened in that scenario. What ended up taking place as far as the Seminole tribe goes. Metcalf also, though, supported the expansion of slavery into Missouri and the Louisiana Purchase.
Say that again. That's an important deal.
Yeah, he supported slavery in the expansion of Missouri and the Louisiana Purchase.
Say that one more time.
Again, he supported the expansion of slavery into Missouri and the Louisiana
What political
Purchase.
party was he part of?
Well, so was it? Oh man, I know it's in here. You caught me out. The Republic. What's it called? Then is it New Republic or New? Is that it?
The Republican Party that it became what eventually became the Republican Party, the party of Lincoln.
Yeah.
But he supported slavery. He supported the expansion of slavery. Wait a minute, wasn't that the Democratic side?
Well, I mean,
the reason I brought that up, I ain't talking about Republicans, Democrats today because I really don't care, to be honest with you. I care about Republicans and Democrats from 1827, kind of thing. But it's interesting because, we think students of history, we understand that, hey, Democrats equal slavery and Republicans equal freedom. He's one. We haven't even got to this yet, but he's the first Republican governor of Kentucky. But he supported the expansion of slavery. Wait a minute, that doesn't make sense. I bring that up because daggone, this history is complicated. It is so complicated. So sorry there, but I want to bring that up.
No, you're fine. You're good, and that's a good point to make. I mean, people want to lump these things together, but oftentimes we forget about the individuals, and you want to lump everything or paint everything with a single brush, and that's just not how it was. So in 1826, an investigation was launched into the accusations that Vice President John C. Calhoun had illegally benefited from a government contract, which doesn't sound like any politician would ever do that, but that he awarded while he was serving as Secretary of War.
Have you looked at a picture of John C. Calhoun?
He's interesting. He's got an interesting picture as well.
Yeah, he sure does. Yeah, go ahead. I'll find it.
Okay, all right. So he obviously, one of those situations where Calhoun's friend and the South Carolina state representative, he was cleared. Calhoun was cleared of any wrongdoing, but after the investigation, George McDuffie began to go after Metcalf, and they sent letters to each other, full of insults. I don't know what the insults really could be that was that bad. You're not honorable. You're not as your cane is not as cool as mine. Maybe I don't know.
Absolutely.
I don't know.
Your hair is not as cool as mine because I'm getting ready to show you a picture here in a second of these fellas, but
oh yeah. But so anyway, get to the point that people are challenged, or that they or it escalates, I guess, to where they challenge each other to a duel.
aha, yeah, here we go. Now
Yeah,
we're getting to
there
the
we
good
go.
stuff.
So Metcalf got to choose the weapon to use, and he chose rifles and a distance of 90 feet. But
That ain't very
McGuffey,
far. Hang on one second.
yeah,
Hang on one second. Let's show that photo.
all right. Oh my goodness.
That's some ugly fellas, isn't it? That's some ugly guy.
Oh yeah.
That's how I want to be
Yeah, that
portrayed.
hair, buddy. That
You know
hair
what
is
I'm saying?
back.
When they put my picture on Ancestry.com of my fourth grade grandkids, I want them to see. John C. Calhoun was a heck of a dude, man. That's a whole nother
Oh,
story there from South Carolina.
yeah,
But his buddy
yeah,
there, McDuffie, what is nasty hair he has, But
yeah.
I know I'm being the class clown, kind of that's immature about this. This is history class now,
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's amazing how ugly those guys were during that time period. Even Cassius Clay, what an ugly fella in his hair, But
Yeah, yeah.
sorry.
Yep. So Blaine throws the big insult. You're a scoundrel. So that's probably what they were calling each other. So
Uh-huh.
Metcalf says rifles at 90 feet.
90 feet,
McGuff-
man. You know how far 90 that's 30 yards, dude. If
Yeah,
you
that's not
can
far.
shoot somebody at daggone 30 yards, you're in trouble. I shot,
Yeah.
in the Marines, we shot at 500 yards, so what's
Yeah, yeah, you should be able to do that. But McGuffey says that he wasn't able to hold a rifle due to an injury that he served in a previous duel. So McDuffie, sorry,
yeah.
suggests pistols. Metcalf says
Wait a
he
minute.
hadn't held a
You said
pistol.
a previous duel. McDuffie's already been in the duel.
Yeah,
He's already won. He can't even hold a rifle. He's so jacked up from the last time he was in the duel. That's probably why he said, we're going to have to use pistols.
Yeah. So Metcalf, though, says that he's not held a pistol in his entire life. So so eventually they kind of the I guess if you want to say the flame to the fire kind of dies down, and they kind of let the duel go away, and yeah, that's it. They don't ever duel.
Let it
It's
die
dropped.
down, I guess, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Temper's cool, they think about it, they sleep on it. Well, maybe we shouldn't line up and shoot guns at each other.
I don't know,
But-
Jameson. There's a question for you. There's a question for you. Jameson, have you covered Metcalfe County history on your podcast? Will you?
No, but we will. All the counties are up for play. Of course, we did Jefferson County this week. Is another Jefferson County. Pike County's next. The next one we're going to cover, and then I believe Carter County. We've already recorded a podcast about it, but we have not covered Metcalfe. If you know somebody or have an idea of, hey, the Metcalfe County genealogy or historical society, let me know, and because it's hard to kind of find some of these counties. I typically look for Facebook groups or historical societies, and if they don't got those, man, that's kind of a dead end. I got to find like an actual person or somebody there local, and
Sure.
that gets to be a bit harder. But yeah. So if you know anybody, I'll be more than happy to
Absolutely.
get in touch with them.
You said that they kind of let it die down with duels. Jameson, I cannot tell you the amount of stories that we research and talk about it when it involves the word duel. And I wish to goodness we still had duels. If I insulted you and I said something bad about you and your character, and you could challenge me to a duel, I'm going to think twice before I insult your character, wouldn't I?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Would I sleep pretty well?
No, shoot. Can you shoot pretty well?
Oh no, I'm terrible.
So you never say anything bad about anybody. Remember I saw your Facebook post the other day where you were bad mouthing your neighbor over there.
We'd have to be 10 feet apart.
10 Yeah, I wish we'd bring that back. Bring back dueling. And how many people in this time period of history do we talk about that fought in a duel? And these are just like affluent people that we're talking about. What about our own ancestors, our third, fourth, fifth great grandfathers? They would have been involved in that too, man.
Yep.
Hey, this guy stole my lunch out of the refrigerator, and I'm going to challenge him to a duel.
People's honor and pride were held held high. Those are important, and
I don't think they had refrigerators then, but
yeah, you don't have a I guess you don't really have a reason, or there's not a good reason to insult somebody if it's going to go to a duel.
Right. So. Absolutely. Ancestor Stalker said so many behaviors would change. You better believe it. And let's say Gail says anxious for that Lee County podcast.
Well, yeah, I know somebody from Lee County, but we've not got.
It's only about
not got there yet.
Over there, I think there's 7. Isn't there 7 people in Lee County?
I know one.
There you go. Just kidding.
But anyway, so yeah, Metcalf. So we'll get to the point. He's running for governor finally in 1828. He ran and was elected the 10th governor of Kentucky. He ran as a Republican, and as you said before, he was the first governor of Kentucky elected that wasn't a Democrat. And in the beginning of the outgoing
trivia question, because Kentucky today is a very red state, and people said, who was the first Republican governor of Kentucky? It was Thomas Metcalf.
There you go. But the outgoing governor, which was Joseph Desha, or Deshay, I believe is how you pronounce it. He refused to leave office because he couldn't believe that his party had lost the election, and he also didn't like Metcalf because of his occupation as a stonemason. He kind of looked down on him. So
he was white trash.
Yeah. And I tell you, Odesha, he's one of the he pardoned his son. His son killed somebody, and he pardoned his son. You got a picture coming?
There we go.
There you go.
He looks kind of crooked, doesn't he?
So he pardoned his son. Out of the first 10 governors, I mean, you had a few, George Madison, he died. Looking at him, but like Desha was a bit controversial out of the first 10, probably more so than the others. Man, you're a little closer now.
I think I fixed something there. I told you this is blooper season, isn't
you
it?
Did?
Yeah, let me see if I can do this now. Bear with us, folks. Yeah, that doesn't work very well, does it? We got to figure out how to do that, So once you figure that out, you're the young guy, right? What are you, about 17?
Yeah, about that.
All right.
Oh, I'm old enough, is what I tell my students. Anyway, Desha kind of like refuses to leave office. He's kind of puts him down, says like somebody with such a lowly occupation shouldn't become a governor. Many of the Democrats, though, began to speak bad about how his skills as a Mason Waddy, and basically attacked him, and put him down. And something, I mean, we think, just kind of like dirty political tactics, really, put somebody down from where they came from.
It's always been there. People think that's new, Let me tell you. Start doing, you start digging into history, you'll find out it was a whole lot worse, I think, than today. They started attacking people's their wives, and their character of their wives. We've talked about, remember the situation with our Governor Goebel that was attacked, the amount of stuff that they were about him. I mean, that was some dirty daggone politics, man.
Yeah.
Now they start talking about his skills as a stonemason. Not only that, not only is he trash, but he really stinks at his work, doesn't he?
Crosses the line. That crosses the line. Well, they asked him. They asked when he was asked about what he thought about all these things that were being said about him.
My
This is what he
favorite
said.
quote. My
They may
favorite quote.
say they may say what they like about my views, but the first man that dares to attack my character, I will cleave his skull with my hammer, as I would cleave a rock.
Can you say that one more time? I think we had a little bit of lag there. Say that one more time because
Okay.
I love it.
They may say what they like about my views, but the first man that my character, I will cleave his skull with my stone hammer, as I would cleave a rock.
I love it. Can you imagine a politician saying that today? The first person that assassinates my character, I will cleave his skull with my stone hammer, just like I would a rock. I love it. What a man this guy is, huh?
So Joseph Desha left the office.
That's a fact. I mean, can you imagine? I mean, what would that be like? Premeditated murder, kind of thing today, right? You know. But man, he didn't fool around.
Nope,
he didn't fool around.
Nope.
I admire you for that.
Yep. He's governor finally, and he actually has a pretty good time as governor. He accomplished quite a bit. Built some roads between Shelbyville and Louisville. Gets the turnpike between Maysville and Lexington, and this one's a bit interesting because President Jackson actually vetoes it and takes away the federal money.
Jackson do that? Now I love some Andrew Jackson.
There's some bad blood. Henry Clay was from Kentucky.
Yeah.
Andrew Jackson was
on the aisle. He's on the other side of the aisle.
Andrew Jackson was. They ran against each other as presidents. They didn't like each other. And
Jackson's blue team.
Yeah, Metcalf's red team, and so can't give the red team any victories. But
and this is a big deal. If you know, there's toll houses all along there, but that's a major route to get goods out of the bluegrass to the Ohio River for shipping. This is a major shipping. Yeah. It'd be putting in I-75 of today.
Or preventing I-75 from being built,
exactly.
Or something like that.
He vetoed the funds from that. Which, if you know much about, if you want to get into some serious politics, then they would have more taxes they would put to the government that's going to pay for the roads and all that kind of stuff. But he flat out vetoed the funds. So Metcalf said, "Guess what we're going to do?
We're going to get our own funds and we're going to build that road." So he gets state funds. And they end up building the road anyway. Again, he got things done.
He put the canal.
Commissioned the canal of the Falls of the Ohio. He got the first railroad put into Kentucky.
What are the Falls of the Ohio?
Well, it's right on the Ohio River, right next to Louisville, and by creating this canal, is able to make increased shipping and all that stuff. Again, economics. Got to have that economy rolling. Now, one thing that he did push for state public education, to create school districts and so forth. And you would say that was probably his biggest failure because he wanted it. The legislature kind of didn't really. They helped him out, but they put in a clause that said basically districts have an option and pretty much ended it. It didn't help anything. That probably his biggest failure was not getting the education system going.
And that's interesting because remember, he was of meager education. This is education is power. We know that since we were in kindergarten. And to prevent to prevent the average person from having education was to maintain enough power with a certain class group. So, him being and I bring that up because he's the blue collar politician. And he's trying to bring educate the American value of, hey man, I don't care who you are, you can rise to extreme power and success in our country here, and that's what he was driving there. So I'm not trying to get political at all whatsoever, but it's interesting how a ruling class would fight against that for public education. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and this is probably, Kentucky is obviously known probably stereotypically in some sense that, uneducated, kind of, backwards, whatever you want to call hillbilly, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, we compete with
The
Arkansas and Mississippi every
yeah,
year for
yeah,
the
but
bottom. But I'm
the
from Ohio. I got an Ohio education that makes me smarter.
but the
Just
governors, and as I've looked at all these governors, I was like, they each one they try, but it just gets kicked down the road each time, and they put it off, and it just gets to where it's like just not funded and not really looked as a priority. And 100 years later, people suffer from those decisions. Um,
absolutely.
but
And
anyway,
to this day, it's decision.
mhm,
It's when I do people's family trees, I can see certain things that happened in their family 200 years ago, and then it's a downward trip. A lot of when I
yeah,
think in the Bible, it talks about the times three rule. Kind of thing. Your
mhm.
father's father's father. You'll follow from that. So I'm going on a tangent here, but it's very interesting to think about the politics of yesterday being the same as they are today.
Yep.
People have always been the same. The situations are just a little bit different.
Yep, yep. So after, that's pretty much his governorship, kind of in a nutshell. After his term as governor, he did serve as the Kentucky senator from 1834 to 1838, and a U.S. senator. And after the U.S. Senator John Crittenden resigned, he served out the remainder of his term in
Another
48 and
story. I'll set
49.
up on that one, but we're gonna have all. We got to get off it.
Yeah, but he died of cholera at his home August 3rd, 1849, and he was buried at his family cemetery on
Yeah,
the grounds of Forest Retreat. So
we got a picture there. You want to see it?
you'll see it. There we go.
Maddie, there's got to be a better
There you
way
have it.
than that. But you can see that. You can see that picture there.
Yeah,
It's a cemetery right there on
yeah.
the grounds, right on the main road there.
hmm
So
So yeah, so I mean that's pretty much it, man. He's a pretty inspiring dude. Came kind of from nothing and became the governor of Kentucky.
there's a
Uh,
Metcalfe County in Western Kentucky named after
yep,
him.
Metcalf County is named after him.
Forest Retreat.
Uh,
Hey, his house is a bed and breakfast.
oh yeah, that's cool. So I mean, you can visit it now. I mean, if you wanted to, um, it's probably very well sturdy, man.
It's something we didn't say too, by the way. And they didn't give us any funds, so you can't do a plug for the B&B there. But it's kind of cool that he built the governor's mansion. And then what, 30 years later or so, he got to live there himself. I think that's pretty cool. Well,
Yeah, that is
he
pretty
helped
cool.
build the governor's mansion,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah, yeah.
he knew where all the flaws were, I guess, right? Where the creaky board. Here's a guy that's a
Yeah.
contractor, man. I mean, this is a guy that somebody that 90% of Americans would know. A regular
Mhm.
guy. Somebody you see at the
Yep.
Home Depot or the Ace
Yeah.
Hardware store.
Yep.
Kind of thing.
Making a name for himself.
When they say meagerly educated, which means he probably knew his 3 R's, in the beginning.
Yep.
But
Mhm.
and I think that's a huge part of that. And I love Governor Thomas Metcalf because of the fact it's the American dream. Man,
Mhm.
anywhere else in the world, you have to come from something. And that's what people tried to do in America. But we've been able to make it to where anybody, if you put in the work and the effort, you could really rise to the to any levels here in
Yeah.
United States. And that's the American
Yeah.
dream. And Thomas Metcalf is a snapshot of that.
Yep. Yep. He's a pretty good governor. Yeah, I mean, couldn't have said it better myself, man. That's Thomas Metcalf in a nutshell. He made a name for himself and rose to prominence, and I mean, had a good life.
Really did. Really did.
Yep.
So, and he had the best hair of anybody, right?
I don't know, man. I would take your hair, I believe, over his.
you know,
I'd actually I'd probably trade about anybody, really.
yeah, buddy. Yeah, he has that cane and that stern, in the pictures that
Mm,
you find of him. That's the picture he chose. That's how he posed. He wanted to be
yeah,
remembered by that.
yeah,
Kind of
yeah.
reminds me of an Ebenezer Scrooge kind of fellow. But I imagine, you know, his firm grip. I imagine, you know, that's what I think of when I think of him. Is really a man. So
Old Stonehammer.
Yeah, man. What's going on with you guys there at the Kentucky History Podcast lately?
Yeah. So, well, you know, got a few videos coming out. A lot of we the past few weeks, it's been some videos about Bloody May that we've done for patrons back in the spring. So a lot of those players, George Prentice, which, you know, he's Sue Monday and Bloody Monday. Video about him's coming out, I believe, tomorrow or last week. It might have already come out. I'm not sure. Night Riders, videos about Night Riders are coming out soon.
The Night Rider,
like I said,
that car back in the 80s.
No, little cooler Western Kentucky stuff, man. That, you know, doesn't get as much attention.
I'm looking forward to
like
that.
I said, Pike County, Jefferson County, Carter County coming up, and some other stuff. I'm already started recording stuff for the spring, so
yeah, exciting, really is. Yeah.
There you go.
At Family Tree Nuts, we've been all over the place. Like, I feel like I'm flooding
videos like crazy, man. 4 or 5 videos a day.
Family Tree Nuts is live again, you know. So we did a big, huge project for Spencer County, Kentucky, and those videos will be released here. They're live now. If you want to go check that out, there's going to be 8 videos. And then today we were with we had a new guy, Scott Denny from Nashville area. He's going to be filming tons of videos in the Tennessee, northern Alabama, northern Mississippi area. He's going to be putting a whole lot of videos out there. We worked with him today. He's got a live video that's out there today, so look forward to that. So, man, we've got a ton of stuff going on, and we're flooding it, ain't we?
That's right. The more, the better, man.
So, who we got next week?
Not what was it?
It's a Hensley settlement.
Yes, Hensley settlement. That's it. Yep. So be ready.
What's the Hensley side? I'll leave that alone. I don't want to go into details on that, but that's quite an interesting group. I've known some people that were part of that. So, yeah, man. Anything else you want to say about our governor, the Stonehammer, old Stonehammer?
Hey, he's got the coolest nickname of any governor I know. So pretty awesome.
And the worst hair. So,
yeah, buddy. Subscribe to the channels, like the Facebook pages. See you next week, man.
Yeah, man. We'll see you then. Here we go. We'll show the video. And hey, remember, Family Tree Nuts. Let our nuts find the nuts in your family tree.